Gerwyn Price.
He was looking unnatural to start shooting at the
This would be, what a finish this would be.
Come from Stewart. Unbelievable from Michael van Gerwen. A 9-darter in the European.
Darts goes beyond hitting the bullseye. Sometimes it's about missing the board entirely, punching it in anger, or even running naked across the stage. In this video, we're diving into the wildest, weirdest, and downright craziest moments in darts history. From trophy thieves to power outages and everything in between, these incidents will make you see the sport in a whole new light. Number 1. Joe Shaggy Mernon's premature celebration. In 2016, Joe Shaggy Mernon made his World Championship debut at Alexandra Palace, facing Andy Hamilton. What should have been a memorable moment turned into an embarrassing blunder. Mernon, thinking he had won the match, started celebrating and offered a handshake to Hamilton. The problem? The game wasn't over yet. Mernon had misunderstood the tiebreak rules, believing he'd secured victory. Hamilton, seasoned and savvy, ignored the premature handshake and continued playing. The commentators were quick to point out Mernon's mistake, adding to the awkwardness of the situation. Luckily for Mernon, he managed to compose himself and win the match in the next leg. But his early celebration will forever be remembered in darts history as a reminder to always know the rules before you start the victory dance. Speaking of celebrations gone wrong, our next moment shows that even the simplest actions can lead to unexpected consequences. Number 2. Menor Suljović's watch-breaking punch. Menor Suljović, known for his methodical play, had a moment of unbridled excitement that cost him dearly, quite literally. During his 13th European Championship appearance, Suljović was playing in front of his home crowd against Florian Hempel. After going one leg away from victory, Suljović couldn't contain his joy. In a burst of elation, he punched his hand in celebration. But this triumphant gesture quickly turned into a costly mistake. The force of his punch caused his own watch to fall off his wrist and shatter on the floor. Talk about a time-stopping moment. The incident left Suljović with a broken watch and probably a bruised ego. It just goes to show that in darts, keeping your cool isn't just about mental composure. It can save you some money too. From broken watches to broken odds, our next moment shows that sometimes even mistakes can work in a player's favour. Number 3. Gerwyn Price's lucky 160 checkout. In 2017, during the World Match Play in Blackpool, Gerwyn Price had a moment that can only be described as a happy accident. Facing the legendary Phil Taylor, Price attempted a 160 checkout. He hit a treble 20 with his first dart as planned, but then things took an unexpected turn. His second dart landed in the single 5, leaving him with an awkward 95. It seemed like a costly mistake that would give Taylor a chance to pounce, but the dart gods had other plans. Price's final dart knocked out the single 5 and found its way into the treble 20 bet. This fortunate ricochet left Price on double 18, a much more favourable position. What started as a potential disaster turned into one of the most incredible 160 checkouts you'll ever see. It just goes to show that in darts, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. But luck isn't always on a player's side, especially when it comes to basic math, as our next moment hilariously demonstrates. Number 4. Leonard Gates' counting mistake. In 2022, Leonard Gates made his debut at the Grand Slam of Darts. In his second group game against Damon Heta, Gates found himself with a golden opportunity. He had 3 darts in hand and needed 70 points to win the match 3-2. Simple enough, right? Well, not quite. In a moment of confusion that left everyone scratching their heads, Gates miscounted. He thought he needed 50 points instead of 70. Following this faulty logic, he aimed for and hit double 16 with his second dart, thinking he'd won the match. The realization of his mistake was painful to watch. Not only did he lose that leg, but the momentum shift saw him lose the entire match 5-4. It was a stark reminder that, in darts, your math skills are just as important as your throwing arm. While Gates' mistake was all in the mind, the next player had a much more visible blunder. Number 5. Runa Davids' complete board miss. The year was 2013, and Norwegian player Runa Davids was making his World Championship debut. Nerves are expected in such a high-pressure situation, but what David did next was beyond anyone's expectations. In a moment that left the referee, Hugh Weir, visibly stunned, David completely missed the dartboard. Not just the triple 20, not just the single 20, but the entire board. His dart sailed past the target, landing harmlessly on the floor behind. The crowd's reaction was a mix of gasps and nervous laughter. Even the most amateur pub player rarely misses the entire board, let alone a player on the world stage. It was a stark reminder of the immense pressure these players face, and how it can affect even the most basic throws. From missing the board to complaining about drafts, our next moment shows that sometimes external factors can play havoc with a player's game. Number 6. Peter Wright's draft complaint. Peter Wright, known for his colourful mohawks and outfits, proved he's just as particular about playing conditions during the 2017 PDC World Championship. Before his match against James Wade, Wright noticed something wasn't quite right. There was a draft on stage. Instead of shrugging it off, Wright brought it to the officials' attention. The result? Both players left the stage before the game even began. The officials scrambled to find the source of the wind, while the audience waited in bewilderment. After a delay, the source was found and fixed, allowing the players to return and start the match. It just goes to show that, in darts, every little detail matters, even the air circulation. Speaking of unexpected disturbances, our next moment involves an uninvited guest that created quite a buzz. Number 7. The Alipate Wasp incident. The Alexandra Palace, affectionately known as Alipate, has seen its fair share of drama over the years. But in 2018, it witnessed something truly bizarre: a wasp stealing the show during a World Championship match. During a game between Menor Covichs and Kevin Painter, a wasp decided to join the party on stage. At first, it was just a minor annoyance, buzzing around the players, but then it set its sights on Covichs. The wasp landed on Covichs' shirt, causing a moment of panic. With remarkable composure, Covichs managed to flick it off with his finger. The incident provided some unexpected comedy, with players, officials, and commentators all struggling to keep straight faces. It just goes to show that in darts, you need to be prepared for anything, even impromptu encounters with insects. Number 8. Michael Smith's self-knockout. The 2014 PDC World Championship saw one of the cruelest twists of fate in darts history, courtesy of Michael Smith. In his match against Peter Wright, Smith started a visit with 2 perfect darts in the treble 20. He was on track for a massive score, but then disaster struck. His third dart didn't just miss the treble 20, it knocked out both of his previous darts. In a split second, Smith went from a potential 180 to a measly 60. The look of disbelief on his face said it all. This freak occurrence cost Smith 120 points, a huge swing in a high-level match. It was a stark reminder that in darts, it's not over until all 3 darts have landed safely in the board. From on-stage mishaps to off-stage collisions, our next moment proves that sometimes the danger isn't on the oche. Number 9. James Wade's dancer collision. In 2013, James Wade was preparing for his World Championship match with his usual focus and determination. Little did he know that his walk-on would provide one of the most awkward moments in darts history. As Wade made his way to the stage, he decided to dance behind the walk-on girls. It seemed like a harmless bit of fun, but Wade misjudged the space. One of the dancers, unaware of Wade's presence, swung her arm back right into Wade's lower regions. The impact left Wade doubled over in pain, trying to compose himself before his match. It was a moment that had the crowd wincing in sympathy, and probably left Wade rethinking his walk-on strategy. This incident serves as a reminder that in darts, the unexpected can happen at any moment. even before you've thrown your first dart. Number 10. Steve Farmer's accidental bust. This moment takes us back to the 2012 PDC World Championship, where Steve Farmer experienced a moment of triumph, quickly followed by crushing realization. Farmer was on 176 points when he stepped up to the oche. He threw 3 perfect darts, landing a maximum 180. The crowd erupted and Farmer broke into his signature choo-choo celebration, mimicking a train. There was just one problem. He wasn't supposed to hit a 180. By scoring 180 when he needed 176, Farmer had busted his score. The realization dawned on his face mid-celebration, creating a moment of pure comedy gold. Number 11. Justin Pipe's format fumble. Justin Pipe, a seasoned pro, had a brain freeze of epic proportions during the 2012 World Grand Prix quarter-final. In a double-start format game, Pipe inexplicably aimed for the treble 20 twice. The realization dawned on his face like a slow-motion dart missing its mark. Luckily, he salvaged the situation by hitting double 16 with his third dart. Talk about a double trouble start! As we shift from mental lapses to pest control, our next moment proves that sometimes the biggest threat isn't your opponent, but a tiny winged intruder. Number 12. Simon Whitlock's fly fiasco. During a 2020 World Grand Prix match, Simon Whitlock faced an unexpected opponent, a fly on the board. With the precision of a seasoned marksman, Whitlock squashed the bug mid-game. But here's the kicker. He left the carcass on the board. The deceased fly became an impromptu spectator for the rest of the leg, witnessing a 180 from Mervyn King before finally being removed. Who knew darts could double as pest control? From flies to flying fans, our next moment shows that sometimes the most unpredictable element isn't on the oche, but in the stands. Number 13. Trophy tussle at the World Championship. The 2017 PDC World Championship final was interrupted by a fan who decided to write himself into darts history. As Michael van Gerwen was on the verge of victory, this prankster vaulted onto the stage and grabbed the Sid Waddle trophy. Security tackled him faster than a dart flies, but not before he'd given everyone at Alipate a collective heart attack. Remember folks, the only thing you should be taking home from a darts match is memories, not trophies. Speaking of things that shouldn't be hit, our next moment proves that sometimes the dartboard isn't the only target. Number 14. Colin Lloyd's punch-out. In 2012, Colin Lloyd let his frustration get the better of him in a match against Andre Welger. After a series of poor throws, Lloyd did the unthinkable. He punched the dartboard. The impact left him with a cut on his knuckles and a dent in his wallet from the subsequent fine. Note to aspiring darts players, the board is for darts, not fists. From power punches to power outages, our next moment shows that sometimes external factors can throw a real spanner in the works. Number 15. Lights out at the oche. Imagine you're about to throw a game-winning dart when suddenly, darkness. That's exactly what happened during a match between Paul Nicholson and Kevin Painter. An unexpected power cut plunged the venue into darkness, pausing the game and leaving everyone in a state of confusion. It just goes to show, in darts you need to be prepared for anything, even a game of darts in the dark. As we flip the switch back on, our next moment involves a fan who decided to turn up the heat by turning down their clothes. Number 16. Streaker spectacle. In 2024, a high-profile match was interrupted by a streaker who decided to show more than just enthusiasm for the game. This naked daredevil sprinted across the stage, leading security on a merry chase around the oche. It was a brief but memorable display that left players, officials and spectators alike in various states of shock, amusement and second-hand embarrassment. Talk about a cheeky interruption. From unexpected nudity to unexpected tumbles, our next moment proves that sometimes the hardest part of darts isn't throwing, it's walking. Number 17. Dirk van Duijvenbode's tumble trouble. Dirk van Duijvenbode, known for his energetic entrances, had a walk-on in 2022 that was memorable for all the wrong reasons. Mid-strike, van Duijvenbode lost his footing and took a tumble right there on stage. But like a true pro, he bounced back up, cracked a smile, and went on to win his match. It just goes to show, in darts, it's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up and throw. From falling down to forgetting equipment, our next moment proves that even world-class players can have very human moments. Number 18. Rob Cross's Dart Dilemma. In a moment of forgetfulness that will make any absent-minded professor proud, Rob Cross once found himself on stage without his darts. The panic on his face was palpable as he patted his pockets, hoping for a miraculous appearance. Luckily, his opponent Peter Wright came to the rescue, offering a spare set. It was a heartwarming display of sportsmanship that turned a potential disaster into a memorable moment of camaraderie. From forgotten darts to difficult handshakes, our next moment proves that sometimes handshakes are not peaceful. Number 19. Taylor and Barney go at it. In the 2013 PDC World Championship semi-final, darts legends Phil Taylor and Raymond van Barneveld added another chapter to their storied rivalry. Taylor emerged victorious with a 6-4 win, but the real drama unfolded during the post-match handshake. As the players met at the oche, an apparently tense exchange of words led Taylor pushing van Barneveld away. The Dutchman, surprised by this reaction, responded with a light shove to Taylor's back. This unexpected display of tension between two of the sport's greatest players shocked fans and officials alike, momentarily overshadowing Taylor's path to his 14th world title. Number 20. The Almighty Spill. In a jaw-dropping moment at the Darts Masters in Sydney, Michael van Gerwen, known for his precise aim and steady hands, had an off night against Raymond van Barneveld. The drama unfolded as MVG, trailing 8-2, desperately reached for a drink to steady his nerves. Instead of a calming sip, he disastrously fumbled the tumbler, sending it crashing to the floor. The unexpected spill startled van Barneveld, disrupting his focus. The arena held its breath, witnessing the uncharacteristic clumsiness from a darts legend known as Mighty Mike. This mishap was a rare, unforgettable moment that underscored the unpredictable nature of live sports. And there you have it, folks. These 20 moments prove that the world of darts is a bullseye of unpredictability. From power cuts to flying trophies, streakers to falling scenery, it's clear that when it comes to entertainment, darts always hits the mark. So, next time you watch a tournament, remember, you're not just watching a game, you're witnessing potential history in the making. And who knows, you might just see the next entry in our list of craziest darts moments.